Hello everyone, welcome back to this game. My name is Draygone Willem Fuzzbottom Jr. and these are some of my patrons. Wildland Gold Pyramid, Ella Enchanted, Nicole Spicer, Snow Hazard, Lit Dragon, and a special thanks to my special sponsor, Theo Vellum. As we get this game here started up today, I would like to request that you let me know what you think of today's video. And if for whatever reason you don't like today's video, then please let me know why. When we last left off, we finally have all the answers. So let's see here. We are working here at Phoenix Corporation, and there's an experiment in Phoenix Corporation called the Phoenix Experiment. Interestingly, the Phoenix Incorporation and Experiment is actually spelled differently. Phoenix Corporation is spelled with an F, Phoenix Experiment is spelled with a PH. Whatever. Anyway, so the Phoenix Experiment is apparently a time machine. The purpose of the time machine is to let everybody live forever, hence why it's called the Phoenix Experiment. It's like some sort of rebirthing, because you get sent back in time to your past self, and get to relive your past self as many times as you go into the time machine. The downside being that it's only your consciousness that gets sent back in time, and your body in the present time just winds up dying. So, that's a thing. Well, anyway, I've been doing a little bit of time traveling myself in a way. Not like literally, but I've been playing through these multiple branches, guiding everybody to the Phoenix experimental room to the time machine. And now, I assume everybody has now gathered at this one point, and everybody's now gone through the time machine and everything. I don't know though, cause like, me as a character have had different experiences with these guys. However, me as a character went back in time with the CEO, so I'm not going to know that Christina is the one who started this whole mess with the building catching on fire and people dying along the way. Nor will I know that Troy took the blame for it, because he's already gone through these branches multiple times trying to save everybody with the use of the time machine and constantly failed, and so he wants to be the one to die. And that's all the recapping I'm going to do. I have recapped every single episode, and it gets kind of confusing with all the information that builds up, so let us just go ahead and go to the final branch. Alright. Everybody evacuate and all that stuff. Visitor has logged into the Phoenix Corporation. Lino? What the hell is going on here? I went into the Tempest room like you told me to, and now I'm back here in the control room. That was the very last thing we did, was go into the time machine with the CEO. Wait. Christina has logged onto the Phoenix Corporation Communications Network. What? How did I end up here? Steve has logged on. Chris! You're alive! I knew you were alive! Steve? I thought you were dead! Me? Troy has logged on. You guys! You remember! You finally remember! Troy! This all just part of some trick of yours, isn't it? No, I have no idea what's going on. You think I'm going to believe that after you lit this fire? I didn't like the fire. You don't just get to change your story now. Steve, he's telling the truth. What do you mean? Lionel has logged on. Amazing. I knew this would happen sometime, somewhere, but I never thought I'd be the one to witness it. You know what's going on here? Yes, but for now, there are more pressing matters. Does anyone here have one of the security codes? I already told you mine last time, RFTS. But did anyone find any new ones? Oh, I found a blue file which said IRHH in it. I found one which said SOEE. Perfect. Visitor, I confess that just before I cut out last time we spoke, I found a file containing the code EMAS. Needed a drink. Now quickly, enter all the codes. Can I like go back through them? Because I wasn't memorizing them. Alright. Security code confirmed. Security system online. Beginning scan floor B3. 4 codes received. Full access granted. Full access? You can now lock 4 fire doors at a time instead of just 1. Lionel, tell us what the hell is going on here already. Why is everyone alive again? There's no way I would have enough time for that now. Calculations complete. Fire on floor B3. No casualties expected. No casualties expected? No one has to die! That is why the game is called No One Has to Die. Because it's for real. No one has to die. Well, except for everybody in the parallel timelines that I just played through. Yeah. Multiverse theory is a pain. Yes. Now we have the security codes. We're all safe. Let's get out of here then. Urgent, please enter your security stuff. Alright, so basically, we go through all the missions, and we get to just lock everything. Turn that on to stop the fire from reaching Christina. Then turn it off so we don't drown Christina. And you can just go over here, because why not? Fire has been contained. Fantastic! We're all still alive! Great, but you still owe us all an explanation. How is everybody alive again? How did I end up back where I was when the fire started? Why aren't these rooms fire damaged anymore? Beginning scan floor B2. Visitor, do you remember what I told you before? Yeah, you invented a time machine. Impossible! Well, it was a bit different to a time machine, I guess. It carries your thoughts and memories through time instead of your body. Correct so far. It works going forward, but going backwards... Calculation complete. Going backwards, you killed someone. They never returned to their body. Fire on floor B2. Here's a random thought, though. Do you wind up going... Is there a way to wind up going back to the wrong body? I imagine not. That would be interesting. That is the story as I told it. That person you murdered was my mother, huh? What? Your mother died of a brain tumor. You told me so. That was a lie. Lionel killed my mother to test some impossible time travel. So I lit the fire. I lit it to kill Lionel and wreck his corporations before they ruined any more lives. Chris, I don't believe it. I had suspected as much. Christina, your mother is not dead. What do you mean by that? I've seen her body. You took her brain. Okay. To be continued. Alright. Lock, 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 lock. And just for funsies. And this is going to keep going because we got the water turned on. The fire has been contained. And yet, it still spreads somehow. There must be some other exits. Lionel, answers. Your mother is not dead. This is going to be hard to explain. When we sent your mother back in time, she never returned to her body. However, There was not a single fault in our logic. The machine was designed perfectly. The machine is what's in the Tempest room, right? Correct. Anyway, we conducted many experiments and eventually came to one fascinating conclusion. When our subject had traveled forward through time, the future was not set, and so time would bend to accommodate our time traveler. That is, the consciousness traveling through time would remain in its own timeline. But when traveling backwards, things were not so simple. Beginning scan. The consciousness would become lost in the mist that is time-space. No, wait. The consciousness would become lost in the mist that it is time-space. It would find a host, one which owned the consciousness, and one which existed at the time it had been sent back to. But it would not always find its host in its own universe. You've lost me. Our research would suggest that there are a nearly infinite amount of universes, each nearly identical, with only minute differences between them. So, when Christina's mother traveled backwards through time, she was not alone. Trillions of her, maybe even more, traveled too. They would land randomly into different timelines. Some would land in the same timeline and one consciousness would override the other. Yeah, that part doesn't sound so fun, actually. I would not want my consciousness being overridden by somebody else's. That's like worse than death. In some timelines, no one would ever know that Christina's mother had even left, or that the consciousness that returned to her body wasn't from their universe. A few rare consciousnesses would land back where they began, in their own universe. But many timelines were left like here, in this universe, where Christina's mother's consciousness left this world, but no other consciousness returned to fill her body. Because of this, the body remained empty, and Christina's mother was effectively dead. But her consciousness lives on in another time, another universe. Unless, you know, it was overwritten. I'm not buying a word of this! Calculations complete. Fire on floor B1, no casualties expected. But it explains everything. This is why everything kept happening over and over again. This is why we're all here. Yes, it took me a while to figure out, but we have all been brought here by the Tempest machine. Visitor, you remember a time in which you let everyone die apart from myself, correct? Yeah, then you gave me the access to the Tempest room. Well, each of these people remembers a different reality, one where they were the only survivor of the fire. That's right. I had to wait and do nothing while Chris died. I had to wait and do nothing as all of you died time and time again. At the end of each of these realities, the survivor entered the Tempest machine, which had had its clock set to the beginning of this disaster as a security measure. When each of us entered the machine, we were randomly shot into another universe. Some of us would have ended up back here, back where we started, and no one else would remember what had just taken place. But there would be a few universes like this, where by chance all of us came from 5 different universes into one. And that is how we are all here together now, with memories of different futures. This is, I mean, I understand it, but this is kind of complex. I'm kind of having to slow down to let it all sink in. Unfortunately, I already explained most of it at the start of this episode. And so it's like, well, that was pointless. Could have just started playing. Whoa. But the chances of that happening would be practically zero. Actually, with as many universes as there are, it was incredibly likely. There are probably hundreds of universes in which the same thing has happened as is happening here. Nothing about this seems incredibly likely, but it is the truth. Alright. And we get to do this again. You, get out of the door. Lock. 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 We can only lock 4 of these. So we can't lock this one. However, we can turn on the water real quick to douse this fire and also block path to her. Was this the last one, I think? The fire has been contained. Hey guys, all of your paths meet up here, right? They do? I suppose they must. Beginning scan ground floor. Soon we'll all be able to talk in person. No fire detected. I can't wait to see you again, Chris. I'm so glad you're safe. I can't either, Steve. I can't believe you're alive. You're both alive. Well, hurry up then. I'm already there. Okay, coming through now. I can see you. I'm in. Me too. Hey, has anyone unlocked the door for me so I can come down too? Hello? Anyone? Guys, stop talking in person for a second and look at your message, dang it. Typical. Now what do I do? Visitor? Christina, can you ask Lionel to open the door for me? No, sorry. I don't think I'll have the chance to. Is something wrong? Where are you? I stepped out for a moment. I'm at the Tempest entrance. I haven't been entirely upfront with all of you. What do you mean? I've been here before. Weren't you listening to Lionel? We've all been here before. No, I've been here before. To a timeline just like this one, where we all managed to survive. Could have fooled me. That was a pretty convincing act you were making in that other timeline where I rescued only you and Steve wound up dying. Except things went a little differently at that time. For instance, I asked Lionel where the controls for the Tempest machine were, and he told me they were on floor B2, in my section of the building. Later he explained that the machine can't send consciousnesses back before the first time it was turned on, which was when my mother was sent back through time. This is not the first time I've heard of this possibility. There's some time machine research going on in reality, and they're suggesting that you wouldn't be able to go back in time before the time machine was first turned on, or before it existed, more or less. So I thought I'd give things another try, and I hopped back in the Tempest machine. Don't tell me. This time, while we were on floor B2, I set the time machine back as far as it could go to the moment I lost my mother. I'm going back. I'm going back 3 years to find my mother. This is crazy! What if you just end up in another universe where she disappeared? Actually, what I'm thinking is... Hold on, let me get this straight. So... after we supposedly all converged here, you went into the time machine and went back to the start of the fire again. It's like, well, crap, here we go again. And so this time you're not making that same mistake and you're just going to go all the way back. Okay, I think I get it. Then I'll break into here. I'll travel again. Why? What will that accomplish? What about the people who care about you in this universe? What about Steve? You should know better than anyone what this feels like. You've had to choose one person's happiness over another's time and time again. In the timeline you came from, you even chose to kill me. I wish I could have Steve and my mother both at once, but I don't have that choice. I spent too long wishing she was with me to turn back now. Besides, in this world I'm a murderer, I'm a murderer, an arsonist. There's no place for me here. Christina, you're not going to stop me, are you? No, I'm not. I'm kind of stuck in a room up here. Tell Steve I'm sorry, and that I love him. Tell him that I hope we meet again somewhere, sometime. Oh, I see what you did there. But for now, goodbye. Goodbye, and good luck. Thanks. I think I'll need it. Christina has disconnected. Signal lost. Visitor has disconnected. And that's how it ends? Really? Well, I guess that's how it ends. So, an interesting game, I gotta say. Not much in the gameplay department, but it was definitely an interesting story. Well, since this is more or less over, I'll just go ahead and put this information at the bottom of the screen. These are all of my patrons. So let's see here. Who made this game again? The thing of it is that Wario Land Go Pyramid linked it to me on this site with like no description. It's basically just a black window. Here, I'll show you. Hold on. Will this reveal anything that I don't want revealed? No. Well, it reveals an email address. On second thought, I won't show you. But just imagine that all around this is a black screen. As it turns out, though, the game is also on Newgrounds, where actual information about this game is posted. And I have already been linking the Newgrounds link in the description, so you can find out about the game there. By the way, person who created this game, if you happen to be watching, good game. This was definitely interesting. It was worth playing. With that said, I am curious what happens after this. Like, Christina plans to go back in time, break into the Tempest machine, then go back in time again. What would that accomplish? Besides that, what was with all the cockatiels and the message of that they were trying to teach the cockatiels to speak? Christina is alive. Why were they trying to have that message? I mean, obviously the cockatiels were being sent back in time. I assume they were being sent back in time because, like, one cockatiel already knew the message, so presumably that cockatiel came from the future in which it was already taught that message. But why that message specifically? Does this game have a sequel? I don't know. Well, anyway, in regards to the next game that Wario Land Go Pyramid is going to have me play, it's going to be another Flash type game, because this sort of game is not the sort of game I would normally play, and Royal Angle Pyramid wants me to see that there are some good Flash games or something like that. What the next game will actually be, I don't know. He gave me a couple of games to look at, and I haven't quite looked at them yet. I'm gonna have to do that, find out if they work properly, find out if there's like a save function in them, just in case I have to spread them across multiple episodes like I did with this game. Aside from that, yeah, I guess we're done here. So, I guess I'll see you in the next one, and tomorrow I'll be playing a Zelda game for the United States Thanksgiving. So, cool stuff.